habit that you really wanted to break? One that just, it worked for you for a while, but wasn't having the results that you wanted to? Well, if you'll come with me down to Ohio University, down almost at the Kentucky border, you'll meet a gentleman who called himself a chalk eater. Jed Butcher would come to class and he would have a canister full of chalk, oftentimes multicolored because he teaches chemistry. And he would get ready, he'd fill the trays up with the chalk so he was ready to go. And he said he would fill up 3 chalkboards at a time. And he'd write on this one, and then he'd throw that one up and write on the next one. And when he was done, he just had chalkboards full of chemical equations, which he could do because he'd been doing this for a long time. And he was expert at it. The only problem is his expertise was not matched by the kids. The students in there were furiously taking notes and trying to catch up. Chemistry's hard. Believe me, I took it the same class many times. And so you're trying to keep up in something that's hard, and you're not sure exactly what to write down, and so you just keep writing down everything, and you're barely, looking up and down, trying to keep up with what Jed's saying. So one of the students in his class got frustrated, and he's a technical guy. He's now in a PhD program at Ohio State University. He's one that takes education in his own hands. So he takes his tablet, right? And he finds Camtasia Studio, installs our software on the tablet, opens up PowerPoint, opens up like 100 blank slides, shows Jed how to go to the next slide if necessary, starts the recording, and gives him the tablet. And Jed's like, oh, whatever. Yeah, so he's game. He's willing to go for it. So now instead of teaching like this, like he's done for the last 24 years and looking back, yep, everyone's still awake, okay, and he knows they're awake because they're furiously taking notes. Instead of doing this, he turns around and he's actually facing his class for the entire period, which thing he had never done in a long, long time. And he records the class, and he gives the tablet back to the student. The student says, thank you very much. He hits basically produce inside of Camtasia Studio, uploads it up to a server, and sends the link out to the rest of the class. So the next class, I think 2 days later, a young co-ed comes in and says, Professor Butcher, you're the greatest. He's thinking, why, I thank you. Yes, I am. And the gal says, well, yesterday or a couple days ago, you're kind of like the worst, and now you're the greatest. And goes on to explain that she was really struggling in his class, and it was boring because she was just taking notes the whole time. And now she could actually relax. One of the side benefits that Jed points out is that he can tell if they get it, if they understand. Or at least he can sort of go, he can see them being frustrated, he can see them face to face, or a little bit more likely to raise their hand because they can see him. He's also able to make course corrections in the middle of the lecture. If he's seeing the hands or if he's seeing the confused look, he's able to make changes. And he also notices that the kids are able to relax, right? The tension in the shoulders as they're taking notes furiously sort of drops. And they know if they miss something, not a big deal. I'll catch it in the recording later. Now we at TechSmith owe a huge debt of gratitude to that grad student. Because he took this concept of, well, let me start and I'll solve it for you and then I'll submit it up to the server. And he took it to a level that we thought, God, what could we do with that? He made it really simple for somebody who wasn't, Jed says, I'm not really super technical. But he made it easy for him to start, stop, and send. And we thought, well, how can we do that? We created something called Camtasia Relay. Big red button for starting a recording. And if you're in PowerPoint, it automatically records your PowerPoint presentation. It works without tablets. We've talked a lot about things that are using tablets or electronic whiteboards. Our software works with any application on your desktop. And what Relay does is Relay records, whether you're on a Mac or a PC. It then sends the recording off to the server. So when you're done with your lecture, you go, boop, you close your laptop, you open it back up. If it's not done sending, it sends it as soon as it finds a network connection. And the server does all the heavy lifting. The server's the powerhouse here. It creates Flash, Windows Media, iPod, outputs, the whole shebang. It also, by the way, this is amazing, on Relay, it takes the speech, the spoken words during the lesson, converts it to searchable text. So that if I want to search for carbon molecule inside of Jed's lecture, I don't have to watch the whole thing. I can type in carbon molecule in the search box for the Flash video, and it's going to take me right to that page. Not only that, but it'll actually show me every time the word carbon was used in the presentation. So it produces all this great formats, and then it automatically produces it. In Jed's case, it would go to the Blackboard server. Other people go to iTunes University. Some people have their own media server. It does FTP, blah, 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 blah. And then it sends an email back to the presenter saying, it's there. So it can not only post things directly to the content and learning management systems, but it can also notify folks that things are ready. The beautiful part of this, frankly, is that from a teacher's perspective, the teacher just has to focus on teaching. They don't have to worry about all the technology stuff. It's as simple as start, stop, and send.